Heidi ho, Arkansas Pilgrim here. It's been a while since I made a video. Uh, it's been too difficult having to hold my camera and try to show anything interesting. And this video is going to be kind of like that too. But I'm showing you how I made my selfie stick, which from now on I will be using to film with. Whether it's going to be holding the camera by hand or using it as a sort of tripod. So I'll show you the pieces, how they go together, and maybe you want to make one for yourself. Or maybe not. Maybe just go buy one. Don't just be a cheapskate like me. Anyway, here we go. All right. I started off with a piece of scrap 1/4-inch plywood. And I used 1/4-inch plywood, drew out a piece like this. I'm going to make 3 of these, like fingers to hold the camera. And you'll see they're about 5 inches long or so. Yeah, I used plywood because I wanted it to be light and strong, and depending on how you cut it, I don't want things breaking off when you use regular wood or pine, because the idea is to make it inexpensive. You get thicker pieces, it'll be heavier, and holding it out at a distance, the heavier it is, the more uncomfortable it is, the less steady you are. And also, depending on where the grain is on pine, if I use thin pine, the grain could break. So anyway, I made 3 of these. Basically the same shape, cut out, sanded it out, drilled holes, put 2 of them together like this. And they have a bar in between them that's glued in, just nailed in. It's a piece of dowel. You don't have to use dowel. You can use any small stick of wood, but the glue is important because when you nail it in, you'll be nailing it into end grain. That was just to kind of hold it in place so I could clamp it and glue it. And I actually clamped it and glued it when it was all put together so I could have lots of support and have it line up straight. Well, so these 3 pieces make the clamp, but they attach to 3 bars of varying lengths, and you can attach them in different ways, because I made, see, like a cutaway there and like a clevis in, and each of them will fit together like so. And it also, since they have the each end being different, you can always make and add a different piece. Here's the hardware I also use to assemble the whole thing. It includes some bolts and wing nuts, some washers, and also a piece of all thread, 1/4-inch all thread. And these are wing nuts also. They're just a couple plastic ones I had that have been hanging around for so long. Figured I'd just use them on this. Here's a basic description of how it all goes together. This is the small piece that goes at the top, at the very end of the whole selfie stick. The middle finger, I guess maybe I shouldn't call it that, will fit in there. And it will line up here. I also have a couple of spacers that have been drilled out, which you can make out of any small piece of wood. I use some dowels just because it looks a little nicer, but it doesn't have to. The thing's a cheap homemade selfie stick anyway. A 1/4-inch all thread would go through all pieces to line up. And my 2 plastic wing nuts. You just have regular wing nuts. You want to use wing nuts because then you can use your fingers to adjust the tension on everything. Here we go. Once it's assembled, here we go. Kind of a 3-fingered claw. Pieces move easily because the clevis over here is kind of stiff. Even if you tighten these down, it still keeps this one kind of loose, which is fine. It makes it easy to move. And then here is the piece which will attach to the rest of the selfie stick. Here are the other 2 places that things go together. You can see this one fits into there. I'm going to take bolt washer, stick it in from the bottom. I'm right-handed, so I want to have the wing nuts up here. Stick them in through the bottom, put it together. Tighten it up. And this is a really bad angle to try to show this, but you can see that here, that'll turn, this will turn. Depending on how tight you make these, it'll stay. And you can see, there we go. I made it like this, so hopefully I will be able to clamp this handle down, and I'll use the jaw there, which would be angled back up. I'll be able to clamp it and have more options for having the camera be held as a tripod, where I don't either have to hold it with the selfie stick by hand or by sticking it on a shelf and trying to get in the right place. But there is one more important piece of high-tech equipment to add to this to make it work. I have clamped it to the table. So now need to make an addition so that this will actually hold. And that's what the handy dandy rubber band is for. It's going to take two hands to do it, so I can't film that. But because of this, the size of this rubber band, it's what I happen to have. It's also kind of a little on the heavy duty side. I'm going to have to double it up and then fit it over the pieces. And here we are. Get an action shot from underneath too. You can see how it's doubled up. Now, pull down and it'll stretch open. And then come back up and grip the phone. Turns out it grips it nicely even without adding soft stuff here. I may put some little felt pads or something there. Depends on, and actually if I add a phone case, the phone case itself would provide the cushion. But it has, I've used it a little bit, not to film yet, but it holds it fine. So anyway, there you have it. The Arkansas Pilgrim cheapy multi-use selfie stick tripod, I guess monopod thingy. I still haven't come up with a great slogan to say at the end, so bye for now.